think it's been pretty good.
So when we're talking about that culture piece and your team leading, are there things that you all do intentionally to develop leaders within the franchise?
No, there is. I think you'd all appreciate this morning's 9:00, 9:45 meeting. We had the goalkeepers on, the three goalkeepers from the first team. We had the second team goalkeeper on. We had all of the goalkeepers from our academy on. So now you have a bunch of goalkeepers on. And then you have sporting director, head of sport who get invited. So one of them on there. They don't say anything. I might offer them something to say at the end, and they do usually. The goalkeeper coach, Preston Burpo, the academy coach, the second team coach, Vadim. The assistant coaches, my staff is all on. And of course, you don't know how many people are on. Like now, I see just a few people, but there's a lot of people just listening in. And now what happens? Well, we have Ryan Meir, our goalkeeper, leading the session. So we say, all right, so he's worked with the goalkeeper coach. They're looking at Fabianski, and they're looking at a goalkeeper. Say some of the tendencies: staying on your feet, not guessing, parrying just far enough away. And Ryan Meir is talking everyone through it. Someone else is controlling the videos. Hey, can you just rewind that for a second? So that's seamless. It's one of our analysts is on. And it's really cool to see, how many people are on there. The fitness coaches want to chime in. It's really, really interesting stuff. And now along the way, the kids are being asked questions. Hey, James, so-and-so from the academy, what do you think about this play? And now he's, 13-year-old kid chiming in. It's just I think the kids feel safe. We get them talking a little bit, hopefully outside their comfort zone. And then, of course, Ryan Meir, like, are you kidding? A goalkeeper just running a really, really excellent meeting. And then the next goalkeeper, the next 25 minutes or so, of course, Preston Burpo, the goalkeeper coach is helping a little bit, but mostly let them go. And he's kind of moderating a little bit. And every so often, I might just chime in, but I really let that be for them. And at the end, I have a couple of things I share, and much of it is just to say, guys, this is not normal. This is incredible. I love it, and we just make them feel, everyone leaves there feeling really good about it. So, yeah, we do. And listen, Aaron Long ran part of the defenders unit meeting last week, and we really try to put these guys in leadership positions instead of just talking about leadership. But and we throw the little the academy players, we throw them to the wolves too.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Sure. Let me just build on that, Chris, with the academy. I was going to ask you, is there a link from the first team to the academy? And let me expand a little bit. I know the Red Bull New York Red Bull are known for their high pressing tactical ideas. If you had to give these youth coaches some guidance and direction and advice, what do you think is important for a youth player coming up? Like, what type of player would you like to see coming to you? Like, technically sound, and what areas are missing from the players coming through your academy into the first team? Do you have influence in the academy? Where do you put the priority? How much influence do you have? Along that line, what type of youth player do you think you would like to see coming through?
Well, yeah, two parts to that. I think it's a good question, and there's a connection where we dabble down there. We watch sessions sometimes. We are visible, and sometimes on the weekends they have a game going on the turf field, and we are literally, our field's in 10 yards is out 2 grass fields, and we purposely, I'll warm the guys up, or they'll be warming up near there, and we'll stop and stretch near there. And I'll make sure that they know that these guys are watching. It's really cool, dynamic. If we know they're playing NYCFC on maybe 50 or 100 yards away at our facility, they have no idea, but all of a sudden our whole first team walks over before the game, and one big circle with that team that's about to play. And, imagine Bradley Wright Phillips telling that kid listen, just go out there today, be yourself. Really, really cool. And then now, even with what's going on these last couple of months, all the academy coaches are on our Zoom calls, on our calls, just taking in the philosophy, taking in the details, how we run meetings, how we guide some of the questions, all the things that we think is effective learning tools. Can they get, can they pick up what we're teaching and how we're teaching it? And we learn from each other for sure. The interesting part of the question, yeah, I mean, right now we're in the process with a new head of sport who was the sporting director. He's not officially with us yet. He's coming, but they're talking about what is that prototypical player, that Red Bull player? Is it Tyler Adams? What are those qualities? And if we could develop that, what would that be? So for me, it's a few things. I know oftentimes we say that, the technical, the tactical, but if we broke it down just, for one, I think a mentality, how much of that, a kid that you, when you watch them play, you just can, that winning matters to that kid. And it doesn't matter if they win or lose, but just it matters. And again, can you teach that? I actually think you can nurture that. And by creating environments that competing is important. Winning, take it away, but competing and what does that look like? Up a goal, down a goal, that everything you do correctly and you try to win. So I think some players, mentality with that play with passion and a strong will. And also you can drop under there courage. Like the Tyler Adams piece that I think makes him, he's explosive and he can cover ground. But the reason you can pick him up from the Red Bulls and put him at Leipzig in the Bundesliga against Bayern Munich, it was not because of our academy and Jesse Marsh, Chris Armas dabbling in here and there and helping him along the way. He has this fearlessness that I think he was born with. So, and then along the way, maybe we influenced him, but I think, can we help players understand or have coping mechanisms to be courageous, to not, I'll say it to anyone that I played in front of 100,000 people in Mexico. I was nervous, but I wasn't scared, and I think there's a difference. And as coaches, can we help players, deal with that in some way? Is it sports psychology? Is it the way we coach? Is it to make them feel bad after they make mistakes, or to stand tall and to keep your head up in tough moments? I don't know. I think I try to coach that way, but I think there's that mentality piece. And then I think I personally, at the New York Red Bulls in this off season, there's some guys that we made some moves, and Bradley Wright Phillips was injured. He was a legend at the club. I love Bradley Wright Phillips, but we moved on from that. His contract was he's not part of this next conversation. But there was selfish players on the team, selfish to the core, that it'll never hold up. I've never seen it hold up in the biggest moments, in the real games, big moments. That it's just nothing. It's something I will not tolerate as a coach. So we try to knock it out at the younger ages, and then as they come up, we look for humble team players, team guys. And it's not about that if you have a chance in front of the goal and you shoot it, but you had an easier pass. Like, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the selfish guys, the me first guys. I don't care how talented, because what I've learned is you end up, you spend way too much time on players like that they just take away from the guys that actually are going to make the difference. So I don't know. I think that I learned in my last coaching course, what is the 80-20 rule, and 20% of the guys that get 80% of the results, I forget it's wasting time on the guys that are just selfish. For me, at the New York Red Bulls, as long as I'm here, it won't exist. So I made some big moves. All-stars, best 11, see you later. See you later. It would have happened a year ago if they let me, but I had to wait and earn some of that power. So and now, yeah, we might not be as talented, but I'll tell you what, we're a real team and we stick together. And when we have a recovery run at altitude, I see everyone sprinting back. Not like, hey man, I got like, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but it's disgusting to me. And I see it all the time. And for me, I am a giver. And saw on the news the other day that the givers and the takers, that the takers eat well and the givers sleep well. And I understand that there's the me first guys, and I want nothing to do with that mentality. And I think the team guys, and then the fun stuff, which I think, speed. For me, speed is important. Speed of foot, speed of thought. So intelligent players that can think, and are there guys that are quick? Are there guys in the back line that can put out fires? Are there guys on the attacking line that can, run behind and create on their own? So speed's important if I'm designing that perfect player. And I think along those lines is technique for sure. All that without the ability to have feet that can do what the brain is thinking, maybe it's a waste of a talent. So I think there has to be what I'd go further with that and say, for me, the perfect players are the ones that they can, De Bruyne, you name it these days. But even when I was just showing Xavi and Iniesta to Kaku, one of our playmakers, they do the simple things right. So guys that can execute at the high level, at speed they can execute. So it's rarely a nutmeg or a bicycle kick. It's usually in transition, delivering the pass, the perfect pass at the right time with the weight of the pass. Are they assessing where the advantage is so they can release it at the right moment as they draw a defender? And there's a lot going on. I think Manny Schelscheid, who is always at our training, he's our mentor. I know it's one of the questions we might come up, but
you were an old ODP player, weren't you?
Yeah, he was my coach, and he says that if you give a good player time and space, they'll kill you. They'll show you how good they are, and if you give a bad player time and space, they'll show you how bad they are, because they don't know what to do with time and space, and it's not easy. And I've been there. I know that's not so easy. I wasn't great in those moments. So I think that a player that can understand space, and I think oftentimes even when we run training sessions, if you just play in 20 by 20, I think that solves a lot of the answers for the players. Say, hey, 2-touch, 20 by 20. There's no space to think about or opposition and where to go. And I think intelligence is a big one for me. So the mentality, the technique, which the mentality has a few little pieces to it, the speed of thought and speed of foot. Team guy.
Oh, that's valuable information. Paul, do you have one more for him, and then maybe we can open it up to the group?